In the vast kingdom of Persia, where golden pillars touched the skies and power decided the fate of nations, a young Jewish girl lived quietly among strangers. Her name was Esther. She had no title, no wealth, no voice in the palace halls. She was an orphan, raised by her cousin Mordecai after her parents were taken by hardship. In a foreign land where her people were scattered and hidden, Esther learned early how to survive by silence. She was taught not to attract attention, not to reveal her identity, not to hope too loudly, because hope, in exile, could be dangerous. The palace of King Ahasuerus was a world far removed from Esther's modest life. It glittered with luxury, authority, and pride. Yet behind its beauty lived arrogance and careless power. One night, during a grand banquet, the king summoned Queen Vashti to display herself before his guests. But Vashti refused. Her refusal echoed through the palace like thunder. Enraged and embarrassed, the king removed her crown and banished her from the throne. The kingdom was left without a queen, and a search was declared across the land for a new one. Young women were gathered from every province, chosen not for wisdom, but for beauty. Esther was among them. Though fear filled her heart, she obeyed Mordecai's counsel and entered the palace. She did not reveal her Jewish heritage. She carried her faith quietly, like a hidden flame. Among many, Esther found favor not only because of her appearance, but because of the gentleness in her spirit. Even the servants noticed something different about her, and when the king finally laid eyes on her, he chose her. A crown was placed upon the head of a girl who once had nothing. Esther became queen, but her silence remained. Not long after, Mordecai uncovered a plot to assassinate the king. He reported it through Esther, and the king's life was saved. The event was recorded but quickly forgotten. Time passed. Then rose a man named Haman, proud, powerful, and hungry for honor. The king promoted him above all others, commanding everyone to bow before him. Everyone obeyed, except Mordecai. He would not kneel to a man who demanded worship. Haman's pride turned into rage. But it was not enough to punish Mordecai alone. When Haman learned Mordecai was a Jew, his hatred expanded. He plotted not just revenge, but genocide. A decree was written and sealed with the king's ring. On a chosen day, all Jews throughout the empire were to be destroyed, young and old, men, women, and children. The decree spread like fire. Fear gripped the land. Mordecai tore his clothes and cried aloud in the streets. When word reached Esther, she sent garments to comfort him, but he refused. Instead, he sent her a message. Do not think that because you are in the king's palace, you will escape. If you remain silent at this time, deliverance will arise from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. And who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? The words pierced her soul. For the first time since wearing the crown, Esther felt its weight. To approach the king without being summoned was forbidden. Anyone who did so risked death unless the king extended his golden scepter. She could lose her life, yet if she remained silent, her people would die. That night, Esther did not sleep. She stood between fear and faith. And finally, she chose courage. She sent word back to Mordecai. Gather all the Jews. Fast for me for 3 days. I and my maids will fast also. Then I will go to the king, and if I perish, I perish. 3 days passed in prayer and fasting. Then Esther dressed not only in royal garments, but in quiet resolve. As she walked toward the throne room, every step echoed with risk. The guards watched. The king looked up. Silence filled the hall. Then the golden scepter was extended. She lived. The king welcomed her and offered anything, even half his kingdom. But Esther did not rush. Wisdom guided her words. She invited the king and Haman to a banquet. At the banquet, she invited them again to another. Haman left that day filled with pride, convinced favor followed him. Yet when he saw Mordecai still refusing to bow, his rage returned. That night, unable to sleep, the king ordered the royal records to be read aloud. And there he heard it, the forgotten act of Mordecai, the man who once saved his life and was never rewarded. At the same moment, Haman entered the palace, planning to ask permission to hang Mordecai. Before he could speak, the king asked him, What should be done for the man the king delights to honor? Thinking the king spoke of him, Haman described extravagant honor. Then do so, the king said, for Mordecai the Jew. Pride collapsed into humiliation. At the second banquet, Esther finally spoke. With trembling courage, she revealed her identity. I am a Jew, she said, and my people have been sold to destruction. The king was stunned. When he learned Haman was behind the decree, his fury burned. Haman fell before Esther begging for his life, but the king returned and saw it as an assault. That same gallows Haman built for Mordecai became his own end. The decree of death was reversed. The Jews were saved. Mordecai was honored. And Esther, once an orphan, once silent, became a voice that changed history.